Hi there, everybody. Welcome to our online health and wellness expo. Today I have Rhonda Parry with me. Rhonda and I met through people, people connecting people. So a mutual person that we know, Jenny in Cambridge, connected us about a year ago. And Rhonda has got this amazing new business that she's set up called WealthBeing. So welcome, Rhonda. It's lovely to have you here and sharing some of your knowledge and experiences with us.
Great, thanks Hazel. Thanks for inviting me. It's an absolute privilege and fun, to be involved.
Yeah, absolutely fun, hey? This is
Yeah,
what it's all about.
to be practicing the Zoom thing.
We're all learning new things.
Yeah.
We all have to look at that adaptation to our new circumstances. I heard something that John Acuff actually posted the other day saying, pivot, don't panic. And it's all about pivoting into the internet.
Yeah.
Panicking about the internet. So we're all learning about Zoom and everything else.
Yeah, we sure are.
Yeah. So Rhonda, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Like WealthBeing, you've just recently started your business as WealthBeing, but you've got quite a backstory that I know a little bit about, but I'd love you to share with everybody.
Yeah. So, Rhonda Parry, as Hazel's pointed out, and I live here in Tamahiri in the Waikato. And I've been here for about 12 years after spending about 15 years overseas. So my big secret is that I'm actually a chartered accountant, and I spent 25 years being a chartered accountant. Although when I think more objectively about it, possibly about 15 of those I was trying not to be, and I was really sort of unsettled in what I was doing. I was good at it and it paid well, but I didn't love what I did. And I also went through quite sort of an upheaval myself, and I guess when I look back on it now, it's probably close to depression, close to burnout, I'm not sure, but close to an edge of something. And it was really brought to my mind or to my attention when I realized that I had been on steroids or antibiotics for 25 weeks of 1 year.
Oh, wow.
And no GP had ever asked me, gee, Rhonda, why do you keep getting sinusitis? And, I sort of started unpacking this, became very curious as to sort of, what is wrong with me, and realized that actually sinusitis was my physical response to stress. And that when I managed stress, I no longer had sinusitis. And so I became very curious about the link between our mental and our emotional health and our physical health. And at the time, I was still doing a very big, corporate accounting role, a national role, and I was all over the place. But it also gave me insight into how poorly people looked after themselves and how they expected themselves to be perfect and the best this, the best that. And yet they were never taking care of themselves. And I wasn't even just thinking about the sort of the self-care side of looking after themselves, but the way that they, the relationships that they, suffered in, and didn't realize that actually, one of the key component to our health at 80 is the state of our, or the predictor is the state of our relationships at 50. And I witnessed all these people in these awful relationships, or relationships where they weren't happy and fulfilled, and they were just, on this treadmill of, well, it is what it is, and I'm just going to, keep being like this. And it was and I'm not just talking about relationships like intimate relationships, I'm talking about relationships in workplaces as well. It was so poor. So as I say, curiosity got the better of me, and about 3 years ago I leapt out of the corporate world, and I did decide, I guess I'd done a bit of I'd looked back into my continuing professional education as an accountant, and sort of for the last 10 years it was basically performance, health and wellbeing expos, resilience, mindfulness, performance, and I was like, it was really sort of screaming at me, I guess, from the wings that there was something else there for me. So jumped out, created WealthBeing, and so under WealthBeing we run resilience and mindfulness workshops here in Tamahiri for weekends. We're looking to run men's ones, so we're going to do a pilot for a men's group later this year.
Fantastic.
Subject to the lockdown being lifted. But also I do a lot of work for a charity, which I'll just mention, called Kia Puawai. And Kia Puawai means to stand up, be healthy, and to blossom. And for that charity, I go to other charities and community organisations and corporates and work with the staff and volunteers on their health and wellbeing. So I might be a speaker at their conference, or I might be in their organisation every week for 6 weeks, or 30 weeks, or 2.5 years, as the case may be, just working on tips to do with their resilience and their mindfulness. So there's kind of two spokes to what I do now. Yeah, but absolutely love it. So I've connected what I love with what I've become sort of quite good at. So yeah,
oh, that's
in a great space.
That's really cool. So what's so your sort of overriding purpose for WealthBeing is to make people connect their minds and bodies with what they're doing, so that they're constantly thinking about their overall wellness when they're working as well as in their life? Is that kind of where you
a little? I guess so many people focus, when they talk about health, they think about physical aspects of health. And I guess where I like taking them is to a space where they can recognize how much control they have over even their physical health, by how they think, how they feel, how they behave, the relationships that they're in. All of that has a major influence and impact on our physical health. So, for example, and this is really relevant to the situation that we're in now. We need our immune system to be in top-notch, uber performance right now.
Yeah.
And yet, what a lot of people won't understand is our immune system completely shuts down when we stress.
Yeah.
So the irony in our current situation is that we're stressing about this COVID-19 is actually making us more likely to catch it.
I totally agree. Agree.
And so
turned off that media, man. Just don't listen to the media hype, because
that's right.
It is literally like, it's almost like they want us to get it. Because I totally understand. Yeah.
So, what our body's designed to do is that if it senses a threat, and it doesn't know whether it's the threat of a virus or the threat of, an impending deadline, or the financial stress that you're feeling right now, it can't distinguish between those sources of stress. It just sets you up to be able to run or fight. And so that has a really physical impact on our bodies. And if we don't use that energy and that cortisol and everything that's been surged into our system to fight or run, it sits there and it's got to go somewhere. And it eventually turns to visceral fat. So, in that, as an example, we get belly fat, which makes us more prone to cardiovascular disease. So you think, wow, my thoughts actually could lead to cardiovascular disease. I could think my way to a heart attack. And, people don't make that connection. And so I guess from a educational perspective, we do delve into that place, that very holistic health perspective. But we also come out the other side of it. And, certainly in the workshops that we do here at Tamahiri, it's very much about living life on purpose with purpose. So shifting from that uncomfortably numb or comfortably numb space in a spectrum to really thriving, living on purpose, having visions, having dreams, seeing them through, been courageous, like living big. Because so often, and in particular for women, we attach our identities to having had kids, or to and to men to an extent too, to the job titles, to all these sorts of things. And then when you pare all that back, when kids leave home, or you lose a job, as is the case may be in this current situation, it's like, wow, what am I here for? What's my, what do I want to achieve? And I've loved something I've read recently, Hayes. It's probably going off the topic, but
that's okay. We can go off topic.
Rather than people thinking, oh, what's my vision? What's my purpose? And thinking that they have to have this spiritual enlightenment to find it. It's actually, what can I do with my time that is most important? That's actually the question we should be asking ourselves. How can I spend my time? Or what do I need to spend my time on? That's the most important.
Yeah.
And that can change. You know, in our 20s, it might be one thing, in our 30s, another. I've got 5 teenagers, so certainly in my 40s, or actually nearly 50, it is, it is, that is what's really important right now. And these sorts of situations, like this lockdown, just highlights that. That actually when you're not going to jobs, and there's no I don't have time for this excuses. It's like, okay, you do have time to actually think about, how can I spend my time on the most important stuff? What is the most important thing for me?
And that's so true, Rhonda. Like, I've found with having our 3 kids at home, and they'll say to me, can you play Snap with me? And I'm like, actually, yes, I can.
Say yes to play.
And it's just, actually, yes, I can. And, and it's like, I don't have anywhere else I need to be. I don't have to jam this into this space or this hole. And like last week when they were first home, it was kind of like, oh, you're invading my, I work from home, but you're invading my office. But, I just said to them, look, I'm going to have to be in meetings. I'm going to be on Zoom calls. This is my office. This is how I connect with people. This is how I do my job. So if I'm on a call, if I'm in this room with the door shut, then that means that I'm busy and you can't connect with me. But you know what? There's a dad in the house too. So, it took us a little bit but they've been amazing, because so I can sit down and connect with them. I haven't understood where my children are at with their maths and literacy at all, while they've been at school at all. And all of a sudden now I'm sitting down with them doing some stuff. I just got those Dragon Maths and Action English books, and we're just working through those worksheets. And I'm enjoying the mental gymnastics of doing the maths with them. But the connection and actually doing that little bit of learning with them is actually, it's really fulfilling, and it's really to actually have that connection. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to homeschool my kids for the rest of their education. But it's actually been a really, really neat experience just to embrace and just go, you know what? I've got low level expectations, an hour or 2 max a day of education type stuff. My kids are doing and learning stuff through investigation and inquiry online, then hey, that's great.
And you know what, Hazel? They will remember this. This will be this opportunity that we've been given, albeit, it's not, no one would have chosen this. But actually, now that we're in it, we have to think of this as an opportunity. And this is an opportunity to make memories. This is an opportunity to learn stuff. This is an opportunity to challenge ourselves, to try something different, such as Zoom. This is a challenge. This is an opportunity to even simple things like try new recipes, that as long as you've got the food, that you can give it a go. And this is an opportunity to, to snuggle up and watch something with your kids that you've always put off watching, but, there's no reason to say no. And I really loved your response to your child, would play Snack with me. Our answer to kids asking for play right now should absolutely be yes. Should be, let's go and do that, darling. Let's go and my 12-year-olds have redecorated her room about twice. So,
I was one of those.
I was too, actually. So I have a great deal of compassion for her.
My mum would tell me to go tidy my room, and tidy my room meant complete redecoration, relocation of everything.
I just remember I used to do it at 4 a.m. in the morning, apparently, and so there'd be a bang on the wall. Rhonda, get back to bed. I was like, I was scraping furniture around the house.
Look, we've just been totally embracing the calm. Like, we haven't been TV watchers for a long time. I think I turned the TV off when my eldest was 2, and it really has come back on again. So we don't watch the news, we don't get any of that sort of stuff. I literally rely on my husband just to give me the updates. He is definitely a news reader. But I'm just like, you know what, I'm in this space, and I'm going, you know what, like you said, no other time in our life are we likely to get given this gift of time. And for me, from having gone through, like you, quite a stressful, high-powered, highly successful place in life and basically burnt out,
Mm.
and have been in that busy space and have chosen to move what we do into a place of passion and something that's more gentle and more
Yeah.
rewarding at a different level.
Yeah.
I have been consciously slowing down and consciously making the choices that I make. But I did say to someone maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, I said, I feel like the universe is looking down on us, just going, you guys are all on your rat wheels going so damn fast, you're about to implode. You're not listening to me. Here, have this.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just a complete reset.
Yeah.
And not a reset of the human species, but a reset of humanity.
Yeah.
I think bringing us back to the basics of being, looking at different ways that we can connect, the relationships that are important to us, having a focus on what we're eating, because that's a challenge. It's not that there's a shortage, but we haven't been to the supermarket since Monday last week, so I haven't been to the supermarket for a week.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned to you before we started speaking, we are reveling in this opportunity to eat. We're eating spinach out of our garden that we probably wouldn't have eaten before. We're picking mushrooms out of the paddock. We made the blackest mushroom risotto last night because these mushrooms are so rich. And then I had a Zoom meeting this morning, and I heard my husband come in and drop something on the kitchen bench. I went there, and there's a whole nother bowl of mushrooms. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with this? But anyway, it just feels like, the things that we're talking about and that are other than COVID-19 are so much more enriching. And what are we going to make for dinner tonight? What are we going to do with these mushrooms? And oh my gosh, did you see the size of the pears right now? Or we're just taking delight in some of the, real simple pleasures and embracing our home. So often we have these homes, we spend all this money on them, and we don't think of them, we don't treat them like the sanctuaries that they should be.
Yeah.
And really right now, I think of this home as this is truly my sanctuary. This is where I am, holding out for maybe 4-6 weeks, we don't know. And I'm going to embrace everything that I can out of it.
I'm with you, totally with you, Rhonda. Like, it's just, there's no better way to approach it. Like I know that there's people out there that are in that space of overwhelm and unease around financial sides of things and all of that sort of stuff. If you can find it in yourself to just set that aside and say, it will work out somehow, and just embrace the gift that we have been given to actually stop and realize just how rich our immediate life is. We don't have to keep up with the Joneses next door. We don't have to keep up. We don't have to be seen to be driving the right car because it's parked in the garage. It's going anywhere. So, and it doesn't matter if we're wearing jeans with holes in them because they're 20 years old and appropriately ripped in the shops. It doesn't really matter, any of that stuff. And I really hope, my hope is that when we come out the other, and our next new normal, when we go back into society as we sort of once knew it, I hope everyone doesn't just jump straight back into how they were. I hope that
there's some shift.
That they hold on to some of the beauty that they've found at home. Like I would love it if it was just like, right, well, no one's worked for 4 to 6 weeks properly, so how about we go to 4-day weeks and 3-day weekends?
Wouldn't that be lovely? Because I think what everyone will be tuning into is some real wholesome stuff in their lives, and letting go of the comparisons and the perfectionism. And I look back, part of my backstory is spending probably my 20s and 30s trying to be this perfect professional, trying to be the perfect wife, and then trying to be a perfect mother, and taking photos of my perfect children on a perfect holiday location. And and then we wonder, and I don't even do social media personally, so then I didn't even have that level of comparison. But you see how easily it is for people to slip into that, comparing it with the neighbours, comparing it with the Joneses, doing things that they think that they should be seen to be doing, as opposed to the things that are genuinely important for them and living to their values. And, this is where I sort of, in the workshops, really try and bring everyone back to, what are your values? Let's start unpacking those. Are you living and breathing those values? You're unsettled at work, but that would make sense because the values that you hold are in contradiction to the values of the organisation you work for, all these kind of things. That unsettling. So I'm hoping, like you, that when we get to this new normal on the other side, whenever that is, that people will keep hold of the delicious gift that they have been given in terms of this time to connect and focus on some, I know Jacinda keeps saying about being kind, and it is about being compassionate. No one, I wrote something on the WealthBeing site the other day about, having compassion. We're all connected in this. We're so incredibly connected for the collective good. That we're in this lockdown, and we're making judgments about people who have raided the toilet paper and things like that. But who's not to know that they're potentially buying it for 3 houses. They're potentially going to be the one who shares it amongst the neighbourhood when everyone else runs out. We can't just jump to assumptions and conclusions and judgments about people. We have to assume that people are doing the best that they can in these difficult times with the information that they have, with the skills and the knowledge and experiences they have. That all collates up into, to them as a human. And that's what makes them different to us. That bank of experiences and things will be different. But, having compassion for others and for ourselves, like not beating ourselves up because, you haven't brushed your hair for 3 days. It just doesn't matter, in these times. Stuff like that, you can just let go. I would just love, if there was, and we can't do it, but wouldn't it be funny if there was someone put together a clip of the waist down parts of Zoom meetings that are going on around the country, people being in their pajamas and their underpants, even for nothing. It would just be so...
I remember Bluetooth like newsreaders, and they're all in their suits, and then the occasional time they'll stand up by accident, the video's still on, they've just got their boxes on or a pair of
on.
But totally. I think it's next level on Zoom.
But it's fun to kind of think about that we're all in this together. We're all, I'm here, in slippers that my grandmother knitted, yoga pants because I did a yoga class on Zoom this morning, a nice big comfy cuddly cardigan that my 12-year-old bought me for Christmas, it just there is no need to be in this performance zone 24/7, so especially now. So I take your point about comparison and extend that to perfectionism. Just let it go. It's not helping us, it's harming us.
Absolutely. And it's a time to it is a time to just go, well, I'm just going to work out something new. Like, I've never run an online expo before, and I'm just like, I want to connect these people. I want people out there to know that the likes of you exist, that they haven't, that they don't know about WealthBeing, but now they do. And that's really, really cool. And that there's all of these wonderful ways that you can set positivity and actually improve your mindset, that you're actually in control of, like you were talking earlier about, you're in control of your health by the way that you think. And I for one totally agree with that. Like, massive health changes for me since the beginning of last year, when I truly realized what that internal little gremlin that was inside my head, when one day it just clicked. I just went, oh, you can go. And I just totally changed the way that I spoke to myself. And it then just had this almost cascading effect. How I felt about myself, how I saw myself in the mirror, how I acted, how all of these things. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I've spent 40 years more of listening to that thing in my head. And now it was liberating. And so, like, it's it's big and hard for a lot of people. It's a huge challenge. And time is a huge challenge. But if you can find it in yourself to just go, actually, I'm actually ready to be raw and vulnerable with myself.
Yep.
To work out really what my values are and really embrace those, you can make this time a really special time to look back on. And I'm so looking forward to, well, I'm making the effort to make sure that this time that we look back on is an amazing time of memories for our children, for us, that we look back and go, well, what looked like was going to be a complete turd was actually an amazing gift.
And when I think it's a really good perspective to have, because we have to remember that when we are in something, it's very hard for us to imagine what it's going to be like at the other end. But this seems to be different for some reason. I think most people or everybody that I've spoken to really realizes that this won't go on forever. That there will come an end, there will come a time when we are on the other side. Yet when we have personal difficulties that everyone's not in with us, so for example, you know, a challenging situation at work and you're worried about, you know, the impact of that on your career or whatever, you isolate yourself and you can't imagine the other end of it. You only ever imagine what you're in right now, and you beat up and you have all those stressful thoughts, and then you get sick, and then you stop sleeping, and then you get more sick, and we create this big black dark hole for ourselves, you know, a spiral. And yet this seems to be a little bit different. People are thinking, okay, it's pretty dark right now, but it's temporary. There will come a time when we come out of this. And I really encourage people to, when they're in their own little personal dark worlds, to remind themselves of this situation. You know, there will be an end to it, that you will come out the other side, and it might not look the same as it did when you went in, but think of all the things that you're going to learn and be challenged by and can embrace and create and try while we're in this space, that will help you on the other side. You know, that we will all come out of this with some aspect or something that we can pin and go, I remember when we were in that lockdown, that was the time that I learned how to do this, or that was the time that I really brought some mindfulness to my thoughts, or that was when I really concentrated on making a good sleep habits and having good sleep hygiene when I went to bed, or that was the time that I played with my child and I homeschooled them, and it was such an amazing moment when they got how to, you know, do multiplication, or you know, that there will be something. There is always a silver lining. And I, you know, in our workshops and with Kia Puawai, we talk about embracing failure, embracing adversity, because these are exactly the times when we learn. And rather than, you know, all the self-talk that you were talking about, you know, in the air about us being a failure or an idiot, or don't know why I gave that a go, it was a waste of time. We can go, oh, what did I learn from this? What would I do differently next time? And this is the question people should be asking themselves. What can I do in this time, which I'm going to look back on and think, wow, that was such a silver lining to the situation? Because there will always be something if we choose to use that muscle.
Yes. It's that positivity muscle, isn't it? It's that look to the silver lining. You know, it's like,
what did I learn?
Don't panic. Just pivot. Don't panic at the black doom. Go, there's a black cloud there. If I pivot, what can I see? You know, and it is literally that. That's they're really wise with Rhonda.
Yeah, and that's really what mindfulness is all about too, because it's bringing an awareness, bringing some attention to what's going on, and whether you're bringing attention to your senses or to your thoughts or your feelings. It's just bringing an awareness to them. You know, I laugh. As kids, you're told to pay attention and stay focused, but kids are never taught how to pay attention. Kids are never taught how to focus. You know, stay calm. Well, you know, if you were to explain to a child how to stay calm, you know, we're not equipped with that sort of stuff, and that's where mindfulness comes in. So, you know, again, an opportunity to jump online and get all these free mindfulness tips and meditations and you know, this is the time when, if ever you want to be focusing on the present, and the gift of the present it is now, because as soon as you dive into the what ifs and the ifs and maybes and of the future, which no one's got any idea of, maybe Jacinda does, but
she's hoping to, I think.
yeah, we're all hoping she does. Or we're going back into the past, and we're reliving the chemical exchanges that take place as if something was happening again. We're not serving ourselves. So actually right now is our time to drop into the present and focus and really bring some balance and attention to our lives right now, and I guess the tip that I was there was a plethora of tips that I could probably have done, but it was one that I actually picked up myself. So I used to have a gratitude practice, but I decided, it comes and goes, but I thought, right, these 28 days, however long it might be, this is the perfect time for us every night to go to bed and be grateful for 3 things, because when we exercise that gratitude muscle, it makes us more likely to identify and see and bring attention and awareness to the things that are absolutely awesome in our lives. And it might be a little aha moment with a child. It might be that you nailed a recipe. It might be, for the mushrooms in your paddock, whatever it is, or not having mushroom risotto for the 4th night in a row. Whatever it is, there is always something to be grateful for. And I remember reading something earlier last week, something saying, even when you are in this dark patch and you can't think of something to be grateful, start with, I'm grateful for the colour of the grass. Just start there.
Yep.
Just to get you started. Last night I
breathe,
that's right. I really watched the sunset last night. Like, it was
wasn't it amazing?
Yeah, it was magnificent. And I had seen the reflection in some leaves on this side of the house, and I thought, wow, there's a light, there's like a red light on outside. And then I realized it was through the windows and it was that strong. So
it was on my son and husband as they were sitting there, and I'm like, you've gone red.
Yeah, you're on fire.
At the window, and it was just spectacular.
So recognizing those, that's practicing, that's exercising our gratitude muscle. And I know you'll have some awesome people on your expo talking about, making sure that we keep physically active and all this. But as important as that, I don't disregard that at all. I'm totally for movement, and that is, savoring the stuff that we can identify in our day that makes it unique and special for us. And encouraging the kids too. You've got kids around the dinner table, what was your highlight today? What can you be grateful for today?
That's right.
We used to do highlights and lowlights, but then when my kids became teenagers, we dropped the lowlights because we only had so long for dinner. So we just
the kids around the table.
We just did the highlights, but just get them thinking about it too, or have gratitude jars. And I'm so grateful that I'm in a bubble with the people that I'm in. It's something I think about a lot. There will be people who, perhaps for no choice of their own, or perhaps for choice but not wishing to be there, are in bubbles where they would do anything to be in someone else's bubble right now. And it's not easy for everybody, but there is always something that you can find to be grateful for. And I really encourage people to be using those kind of muscles to take the opportunity rather than diving into the doom and the gloom.
I think that's perfect, Rhonda. Just taking 3 things that you're grateful for, and if you say them out loud or you write them down, share them with your family, or you post them on social media, whatever works for you. Just being really conscious about thinking about 3 things that you're grateful for that day. And you might be grateful for 10 things, but we just don't.
Great.
Just find those that you're grateful for. I think it's a really, really lovely thing that absolutely everybody can include in their day in some way, shape, or form. And that's really beautiful. So still are you still working as such on
Yeah. So prior to lockdown, had really only used FaceTime and Zoom a little bit for a little bit of coaching.
Yeah.
But with Kia Puawai, all of the sessions are in people's workplaces. So I'll go to, a conference facility, or I'll go to people's workplaces. And so it's been quite challenging because we've had to close Kia Puawai for an extended period. But the woman who founded it, Anna, she and I are working together to create something that does have some online content, particularly for some of the organisations with whom we've been doing a lot of work. So Waikato Women's Refuge, for example. So for 2.5 years, I've been in there every week. And, those type of organisations are really under the pump. As when people are in bubbles that they don't want to be in, the domestic violence can go through the roof. So, we're working pretty hard at trying to create something that we can deliver to help service, the charities and community organisations that are really working with society's most vulnerable. So that's been kind of fun. So, that's continuing. For WealthBeing, so we have running workshops, weekends at the house. In fact, the last one was only 2 weeks and 1 day ago. It finished. So it was, perfectly timed, as you might say. But it's given me a whole bunch of information and ideas that I can work with. So I'm really enjoying kind of getting into that. And as I mentioned earlier, we look to do a men's one later this year, doing a pilot for that. So I can work on the content of that. I know my website needs refreshing. So there's a lot of I wouldn't even call it housekeeping because that makes it sound sort of dull. But I'm quite excited about what I can do with WealthBeing and with Kia Puawai to get us through this.
And you're going to come out stronger as a result, because you're going to have more modalities effectively in terms of ways that you can connect with people. And
that's right.
It's going to be a complete whiz on Zoom and everything else, And
I'm not sure about a complete whiz, but I'll be giving it a go. And
but even just your website, even if it's like, I've been meaning to get, I need to get those blogs up, or I need to get that up, or I need to, like you say, update or revisit your any of those sorts of things. Just even doing that stuff and learning how, you do the mental gymnastics and educate yourself in things that we always never have time for. So that's really, really, really cool.
So more resourceful, more creative, more ideas. Just take advantage of it.
So people can still connect with you and all those things through the time. And it might be that people are going, oh, we really need to do this with our business, beyond this time, and so they could maybe even start the conversation with you now, or
of course,
like I did read on your website, your WealthBeing is for every beings, whether that's a business or a family unit or an individual person. So it doesn't, you help everyone, which is just wonderful.
And the irony, of course, is that resilience and mindfulness is precisely what we all need right now. So please do get in touch, and the easiest ways, obviously through phone, and also email. Email's always great. So
we'll put all those details down into the comments this video, so that you guys can easily get in touch with Rhonda. And look, you're only getting into your savviness within social media, but I tell you what, I've shared a couple of your posts recently because they just it was just, I had no words. I was like, this is it, like this is what we need to know now. And I tell you, my friends have been sharing them on and everything. So you're already blitzing it.
Thank you, Hazel. That's very kind.
Keep sharing those beautiful, beautiful posts that you are, because they come from your heart, and they really do. They certainly resonate with me, and they're certainly resonating with many others that I connect with within my network. So keep doing that stuff, because I think that's really important. Just as many of us that can, just need to keep sharing the positivity, keep sharing the wonder that this time is, what a gift it is to us. So that others that may not see that yet, can slowly, you know, like the more that they hear that coming to them,
Yeah.
it will help them
Yeah.
to then see it for themselves as well. So
Yeah.
that's
And
really
that's probably just the last thing I'd say, Hazel, is all of these things, that all these ideas that have been thrown up into the mix, and people feeling even overwhelmed with all these wonderful, delicious things that have been suggested. Oh, you should do this, you should do that. Is actually, everything is a practice.
yeah.
Nothing is perfect. Everything is a practice. Just pick, one thing, two things, and give it a go for the duration of this lockdown. And if you nail them after 2 or 3 weeks, add another thing on it. Stack something else in there. But
Right.
everything is a practice. And just the same way that you wouldn't expect to be able to put on a pair of running shoes and run a marathon tomorrow, unless you're equipped to do that. You can't expect to just in 24 hours, suddenly, be able to master mindfulness or meditation, or I've just turned off my, thinking loops, and it is a practice. And so again, just be kind to yourself, when you're trying new stuff.
Yeah, I certainly learned that from my kids, actually. They'll go, oh, no, I'll say, oh, do you want to go and try XYZ sport, whatever it is? Right. And oh, but I don't know how to do it. And it's like, that's exactly why you go and try it. And then you get, if it's hockey, you get your hockey stick out and you learn just to roll the ball backwards and forwards. You just practice it. And you get that joy of doing something by practicing, and then you'll look back after 2 or 3 days and go, oh, actually, I'm doing a lot better than that. I say I'm rubbish at meditation, because as soon as I lie down, my head's like Heathrow Airport, and this doesn't know what airplane to land, which is probably not the right connotation to use at the moment, or comparison to use at the moment, with airplanes being grounded right around the world. But that's what and I'm like, oh, I'm rubbish at meditation. But I've been practicing doing that guided, and like it's a 15-minute one or something, and I hear the beginning and I fall asleep halfway through, or I miss this, and so every day I'm hearing these different bits, because I'm just using the same meditation.
Awake at a different part.
I'm more aware, either my head's not off on some other planet, or I'm awake, or whatever it is, but I'm practicing, and I'm grateful that I'm practicing, that I'm actually that I have the space in my life to be able to practice this at this time. And if I keep practicing, maybe by the end I'll hear the entire thing.
I actually I heard a beautiful analogy, and that is, when we are meditating and our mind wanders, often what happens is, when we bring it back, we curse ourselves and go, oh gosh, you're so useless at this, I'm failing at meditation, I can't stay focused. Is to think of your mind like a wandering puppy. So when a puppy wanders and comes back, we reward it for coming back. We don't tell it off for having been away. And so when you think of your mind wandering like that, so when your mind comes back, go, oh, well done, you've come back. Thank you for coming back, rather than, oh, I'm such an idiot, I'm never going to master this. But the wandering puppy, I really liked that sort of analogy.
That's
so next time you're in Heathrow, in your mind, reward yourself for having come back, rather than
I like that.
having been.
I'm going to remember that tonight when I lie down to do my little bit. That's fantastic. Look, Rhonda, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Hazel.
To connect and chat with you, but I have really, really enjoyed today. Thank you so much for sharing all your lovely wealth of knowledge and experiences with us. I'm sure it will resonate with many. And anyone that wants to connect with Rhonda, please do. All her details will be provided below. If you can pop comments in the bottom, and we'll make sure that Rhonda sees those and those sorts of things. But I hope you can go away and find 3 things today and every day from here on that you're grateful for, and add that into your life. So thanks again, Rhonda.
Right. Thank you, Hazel. Thank you. Well done for setting this up.
Oh, no, my pleasure. I hope it helps many.